Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video, and the PlayStation Showcase is tomorrow, and yes, while I know it won't be very relevant to PC gamers as a whole, given the fact that a PlayStation Showcase, chances are, is predominantly going to be used to be centered around upcoming major PlayStation 5 exclusives. The big game that is expected to be there is, of course, Spider-Man 2, and while we did see the release of Marvel's Spider-Man on PC last year, we do also note that Jim Ryan has been very clear in the fact that PlayStation 5 titles will not be coming day and date alongside its PC version, and they will see staggered releases, probably 2 to 3 years around that range, much like we saw with Marvel Spider-Man 1. The original version came out back in fall of 2018, and then we ultimately got it in August of 2022. I don't foresee it being that lengthy of a wait, but I do foresee it being, the 2 to 3 years that Jim Ryan noted, even though, Herman Hulse did say it was going to be at least a year. Hopefully, these things change all the time, and that 2 to 3 year window gets smaller and smaller, and you would hope that, someday it'll be day and date, because while I find it to be unlikely at this current point, at the same time, I think of it like, a decade ago, I would have found it very unlikely that PlayStation games would even be on PC, so maybe a decade from now, we'll see not only PlayStation games on PC, but Nintendo games as well. Nintendo, you want to print some money? That's not a bad idea, stop people from doing that emulation nonsense. But nevertheless, I still have expectations for some PC-related announcements to be at this showcase. First of all, there's going to be games showcased from third parties. Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake is heavily rumored to be at the event, and it's also rumored that that game is going to feature no kind of exclusivity, and it'll be on all platforms right out the gate. The element of PlayStation games not coming day and date to PC, it's true to an extent. It's going to be true for your Spider-Man 2s of the world. However, I think things are going to get a little bit more interesting when you do talk about the live service title. So something like a Last of Us Factions, the Last of Us multiplayer component, that I would implore Sony, I don't know if this is their idea, but I would say you gotta drop that game on PlayStation and PC right out the gate, because live service games are a different kind of animal than you're talking about your exclusives that are trying to draw people into the platform, into that ecosystem. Yes, the PlayStation box, that's an ecosystem, but when you talk about live service games, that's its own ecosystem, and the way it's a profitable ecosystem is by having as many people in that ecosystem as possible. And when you're limiting that just to a platform that already, the hardcore PlayStation fans, they're not about multiplayer games. They've been kind of dejected from that, given that Sony hasn't really offered them anything. They just haven't offered a lot of great ones. Yes, Call of Duty is there, and Call of Duty is still one of the main primary titles, but Call of Duty attracts an audience that I don't think is going to be that same audience that's going to play, Last of Us Factions. Last of Us Factions, let's say it comes out on just PlayStation alone, I don't think it's going to be sustainable to a crazy extended period of time if it's just on PlayStation 5. That might be the hottest of hot takes, but, we'll see. We'll see if they do ultimately go down that route, but I don't think they will. I think they realize that, any of these live service games, they're gonna have a ton of microtransactions, and especially if it's a free-to-play game, just drop that on PC as well. Especially when you talk about free-to-play titles, PC is way more acclimated to the free-to-play audience than consoles are. I know there's free-to-play offerings on PlayStation for sure, but it just seems like that genre of gaming is so much more prevalent on PC and even mobile. But yeah, I don't think Last of Us Factions is going to be on iPhones. That's not what I'm saying. But Last of Us Factions, there's rumblings of a Horizon MMO. That, I think, is very early on in development, and we'll see if that ever even comes out. But there's also rumblings of a Horizon multiplayer project, and with Last of Us and Horizon, both of those franchises have some sort of have some sort of presence on PC. Last of Us Part 1, one of the worst PC ports of all time, mind you, but it's a lot better now. Horizon was a pretty bad PC port as well at launch, but it's a lot better now. So, titles like that I see coming to PC right away. At least that's what I would do. I can understand the argument for not dropping a Spider-Man 2 day and date. I would push back on that argument, but I can at least understand that argument. In the case of a Horizon multiplayer project, the Last of Us Factions wouldn't understand that argument at all. And I just don't think it's a good idea. But beyond that, I would imagine that there's gonna be some exclusives that will be making their way over to PC, because guess what? 2 to 3 years would have expired. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of games, and that's why I think that 2 to 3 year window, the only reason I would personally be upset about it is the fact that they come 2 to 3 years later and they're still $60, $70. Like, that's kind of whack, but like waiting, I don't think that's that big of a deal, because you have this back catalog of PlayStation games that you could just pull from, and games from literally a decade ago that if they dropped on Steam, people would be excited about them. I'm talking about, you know, not even like the most prominent ones, but like an infamous Second Son. If that came to PC, I think people would be excited about that. An Uncharted Nathan Drake collection. Why that wasn't ported to PC before Uncharted 4 Legacy of Thieves collection, I'll just never know. And I think ultimately that was such a insane misfire by Sony, and that ultimately hampered the reception of a Legacy of Thieves collection, because people are like, bro, this is Uncharted 4, I gotta play 1 through 3, why am I just gonna jump into 4? And I can totally understand that argument. Horizon Forbidden West, that's a game that, you know, at this point, it's been about a year and a half since it initially came out. If you're talking about, you know, you can announce it now and then drop it in the fall, yeah, it's not quite 2 years, but Sony's gotten their mileage out of that game, and I think it's ready to be dropped on PC at this point. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, that game had an insane level of investment, and it came out at a period where there still weren't a lot of PlayStation 5s available. Now it's already been added to PlayStation Plus Extra. Why not drop it on PC? You can charge $60 for it, and it'll probably do pretty well. So that's a game I could see coming to PC. Ghost of Tsushima, that's one that was a part of the NVIDIA leak, and Ratchet & Clank wasn't the NVIDIA leak, but it was listed as just Ratchet & Clank, so a lot of people were thinking it was the 2016 game. I don't know what it is. I hope it's Rift Apart, because, yo, like, Ratchet & Clank 2016 would be nice, but Rift Apart's a way better game, so, you know, that's the one I want. But Ghost of Tsushima as well, that was a part of the NVIDIA leak. That'd be great to see. I've constantly gotten back to beating the drum of Gravity Rush 2. I've seen games underperform when they come out, and then they randomly get ported to PC, and then they get another lease on life. They do way better than people would have expected. I remember a game like Dragon's Dogma. That game just crushed it on PC comparatively to expectations. Or even something niche like Valkyria Chronicles, compared to expectations, those games way overperformed. And I think Gravity Rush 2, if it was announced for PC, would literally have that exact same effect, because you'd have nerds like me just talking about it all the time, and that would be so much free promotion. I don't think Sony would, you know, drop Gravity Rush on PC with the expectation, oh, this is gonna sell 2 million copies right away or something like that, but I think dropping Gravity Rush with at least a little bit of promotion, I think those games would way overperform comparatively to what Sony's expectations would be, and I'm sure those games wouldn't be difficult to port. And you could do Remastered and Gravity Rush 2, you know, release each of them at $29.99, or because they're Sony, it'll probably be $39.99, but, you know, at the end of the day, there's a lot of options you could go. Even if it's not a God of War Ragnarok, even if it's not the latest games, there's a lot of back catalog titles, and if you want to do something, like, yo, you did Last of Us Part 1, why not do, like, an Uncharted 1 remake and drop that on, you know, PC right away? There's just a lot you can do if you just don't want to do the newest games on PC right away. You know, from a single player standpoint, I still think, again, the live service games, I think they should be on PC right away. There's gonna be third-party stuff. Those will be on PC. And then, you know, the ports are stuff that I think people are excited for. Let's just hope the ports are a lot better than Last of Us, man. Some of these ports haven't been all too good. So, yeah, and by the way, Returnal was another game that had a less than 2 year window to come out on PC versus PlayStation. Last of Us Part 1, how you want to dissect that? That is a remake, and that was out, what, 6 months? Yeah, 6 months after its PS5 release, but that's not necessarily like a brand new game, so I understand that argument. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. What would you guys like to see out of the showcase tomorrow when it pertains to PC? I'm expecting some live service games, at least I hope. I just think it would be just a complete fumbling of the bag if they don't do day and date with, like, Last of Us Factions and whatnot, but who knows? I might just be completely insane with that take. Like, maybe I'll be proven wrong. Like, I've been wrong about a lot of things. I just think you're leaving so much money on the table. And, like, bro, is anybody gonna be like, oh, bro, Last of Us Factions a PlayStation 5 exclusive? Especially if you're on PC with so many multiplayer options. Are you gonna be like, oh, bro, I gotta play Last of Us Factions. That's it. I need it. I need a PS5. No, I really don't think anybody's gonna be like that. But yeah, that's my 2 cents. Port-wise, again, you got a bevy of games that you can port. So let me know your thoughts down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.